Today, we're reacting to So There's a Red Pill Community for Women Now. It only makes sense. I would only think so, bro, because if there's a group of men talking about how much women tweaking, how men need to move like this and da-da-da, there's gotta be an opposing side. I think we already seen that side before, but that being said, let's get to it. Real quick, I want y'all to go ahead and pull up to my other reaction channel, more Astral Dior, man. More videos over there with a different twist. It's not the same type of videos that I post here, bro, so go pull up over there for more content.
A broke man is a dangerous man, and you have no business dating one.
Look, I'm not becoming one of those types of content creators, but I've seen too many videos in 2025 of women just portraying loser activity. So when I saw this video on Abba and Preach's channel, I knew I had to make my own version of it. And literally, like somebody said in the comment section, there's just a bunch of contradictions on both sides. They don't even realize they are becoming fresh and fit with wigs on.
Back in the olden days, they would see 200 baddies in their whole life. And now it's like they are desensitized to it.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'll have conversations with my guy friends where I need to check them where I'm like,
Okay, that's real. Hey, I ain't gonna lie, that might be some real shit. Back then, you only see so many bad hoes. You don't got IG, you don't got this, you don't got that. You know what I'm saying? And women couldn't even move around like that, to be outside and live in a certain way, like to be seeing them by themselves in Dolo. Like you couldn't even do that.
Like, you need to check yourself. They'll be like, oh, well, her hair wasn't perfect, or she didn't have like veneers, so I just didn't. And I'm like, you are a 4 at best. Like, this is insane.
I know double standards exist,
Niggas is coming like that?
but literally think about if we saw any male content creator come out and do that exact type of content. Like, literally think about it. Just, let's say 2 men on a podcast based in Miami. Matter of fact, let's put some women around them and they just make those... that already exists. That's the whole red pill community. Male red pill content creators' core beliefs are that men should be high value, women are promiscuous, they're not to be trusted, they're gold diggers, etc., etc. But when you really start paying attention to the women online, or hell, even the ones in person, they are saying the exact same things in reverse. Men don't deserve X, Y, and Z. Only high value men get respect. All these same red pill adjacent conversations.
I hate when short men try to talk to me like, do I look like I would want to have short children with you? Fuck. The most hated niggas in the world. I think I did a video on TikTok when I was just doing TikToks back then, you know what I'm saying? It's broke niggas, short niggas, and there's one more. I can't even say ugly niggas, because, you know what I'm saying, you can be ugly but still get hoed. It's got to be short niggas and broke niggas. Those two right there, that's a tough one. And if you both, damn, my nigga.
And now maybe that woman is just into raising the next fleet of NBA players, but I think that there's a little bit more to it. Myron Gaines literally has a book titled Why Women Deserve Nothing, and he's a bona fide loser pretty much across the internet. But if a woman were to do the same thing, which they are, nobody bats an eye.
Sometimes men will grow to resent you for being the one that was there watching them struggle, for being the one that had to...
Women been doing this, though. 30 Reasons Why Men Deserve Nothing. Like, I feel like, niggas been... No, I feel like niggas on some, like, red pill shit, like, that's more new. Kinda. Like, it's been here for years, but I feel like women, for a minute, been on some... Fuck this nigga. That niggas don't deserve this, da-da-da, this is on the third.
To buy their underwear and buy them food. They feel like you've already seen them not looking like the provider.
I think women get this pass on the internet to say the most outrageous things about relationships and dating. The things that can make them seem like honestly goofies if anybody was giving a clear perspective. But the strange phenomenon about this is women will give them praise for saying just outlandish shit. Every time I scroll down the timeline, I see a video like the ones that we've shown, but I'll see a video like this, and then when I go to the comment section, it just has me looking, wow, amazed.
Whenever I've heard a man say, let me see what you look like with no makeup, let me see what you look like without the hair, I feel that that man is telling you that he does not have the money to finance.
Okay. All right. Let's stop there. Let's just stop there, right? It ain't got nothing to do with the bread. It ain't got nothing to do with the bread. If a nigga bold enough to be like, let me see what you look like without your makeup, let me see without your hair, without just waiting and seeing, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm sure it'll come up somehow. That nigga really want to see what you look like just without the shit on. You feel me? He might not be a big fan of the makeup or the big fan of the hair. That might be the case. Or he probably just wants to see what you look like when clear face. If can I wake up to this face, this way this person look every day? You know what I'm saying? Because you fuck around. I've been seeing videos where the girl looked like goddamn a gargoyle, and when she put that makeup on, she done turned up a bit on that 1 to 10 scale. You feel me? So I mean, I'm not mad at that nigga for wanting to know that, because I would want to know that. And with too heavy makeup, I'm already kind of like, ugh. You know what I'm saying? But I just would not go. I don't know niggas just being like, hey, let me see what you look like without your hair and your makeup. Like, it's like, damn.
Your beauty upkeep. Don't come over here thinking that I'm gonna go to Sephora and get you some makeup. So I need to see you without all that, because I want to strip you of all that, because I ain't got it. When a man says that to you, he wants to strip you of everything. He doesn't want you to have the thought process of maintaining yourself.
One thing that the internet has to do in 2025 is when somebody slows down their verbiage, they need to stop listening to them. Very rarely are they spitting any sorts of facts. I can almost promise you that it has nothing to do with the upkeep that you have, or you having some sort of lavish lifestyle that he can't participate in when you do it. He literally just wants to see what you look like without fucking makeup on. Like, I don't even understand how you can jump to those hurdles in order to come to that conclusion. But the Olympics is in Los Angeles in a couple years, and if you're already ready right now, everybody else just needs to stop and not even compete, because you are gonna win if you are jumping to conclusions like this. It almost seems like when I watch videos like that people have things to hide about themselves. I hear videos talking about men don't need to know women's finances, men don't need to know women's dating history, men don't need to know what you look like without makeup, men don't need to know about your family life. Well, damn, then you get mad when men don't know things about you, and it's because, well, it's none of their business. It's not something that they should know. It's not a means for them to protect themselves, just like it's a means for you to protect yourself, but it's them being judgmental and picky and all these other things. I don't see too many times when people call this sort of conversation out, but this is just as detrimental to dating from a female perspective as it is to a male perspective when you hear Fresh and Fit talk about only having the 304s. Now you're justifying why you should go out into the world doing these things, and it's not leading to any sorts of better results. Hell, has she even ever thought about maybe this man is saying, hey babe, you can also just be comfortable in your own skin around me. You don't always have to wear makeup. So what happens 10, 15 years down the line? Do you continuously wear the makeup all the time? I just don't even think that there's any sort of logic that says, hey, let me be this combative over something so small and insignificant. Now, red pill content for men can breed mistrust and this whole stigma behind dating in women that honestly has men lonelier than ever. And on the flip side of that,
for sure, definitely,
it's doing the exact same things for women.
Women, for sure. It's like, when these red pill men, red pill women, whatever, they create these standards and expectations that will ultimately make you expect perfection, and you got to remind yourself that whatever you're not perfect, as well as the person that you're talking to is not perfect. You know what I'm saying? Now you can say, hey, these are the boundaries, or these are the things that, you know, I do not like. These are the things that I do like. You feel me? And as if they continue to cross those boundaries, or, you know what I'm saying, they do something that's just a non-negotiable, then that's when you break it off. You know, you're still supposed to have boundaries in certain things that you feel like need to be done, or don't need to be done. But for the way these sects be trying to instill certain things on niggas, like, you are looking for, they are basically trying to get you to find this perfect individual. Like, no, bro. People are gonna have flaws, and you continue to look for that perfection, you're gonna be a lonely motherfucker, because you're never gonna find it. You know what I'm saying?
And nobody says anything.
There is not a single man who actually believes in not all men, because they'll tell their sisters and mothers to be careful, and they'll obsess over controlling their wives and daughters, because they know deep down they too assume that men are all the same. But to everybody else, it's not all men. So to those men, instead of trying to distance yourself from the problem because you can't get over your bruised male ego, realize that if you refuse to acknowledge the problem by derailing the conversation and invalidating women, you are just as bad.
Now, on surface level, some of this stuff has good conversation and
Not
good
gonna lie, I
intention
didn't
behind
understand
it.
that.
There's
I'm
something
not
to be
gonna try
talked
to.
about how people view each other in relationships. But when this person specifically or other content creators like her base their whole identity and lifestyle about relationships suck, men only see you as lesser than, you're not equal to a man in his eyes, etc., only pushing the divide further and further between men and women when it comes to dating and relationships, what do we think is the outcome? It looks like relationships are put on the back burner more and more and more, and then people are in their 30s and they get desperate because there's some sort of clock that's ticking. It looks like people don't know how to respect each other based off of the sole fact that they have two different genders than each other. It looks like people will avoid relationships more and more and more because on one end of the spectrum, there are men telling men not to date these women and stack their bread. And then on the other end, there are women telling women don't deal with these men. And so now you have these two opposing forces pulling each other away from each other, only for them to be criticized and chastised later on in their life when they're not dating, when they get finessed because they don't understand how dating works, when they don't have kids and live out a dream and they call them lonely. This shit is weird.
It is not quirky or funny to publicly admit that your emergency contact is your boyfriend or husband who is deeply incompetent and irresponsible. It is wildly concerning to me to see all of the women that are under this sound that are saying, ladies and gentlemen, my emergency contact, and he is doing the most outlandish type of behavior. The joke being that he is doing something that's irresponsible and it's supposed to be funny, but then it also translates to him being your emergency contact. And the joke is supposed to be that if he was in an emergency situation, like that's who would be the one to care for you. I don't find those kinds of jokes funny.
Just like in the male red
God damn. I know you fun at parties. Fuck.
pill space, you have people that are women, literally the opposite of the men, who validate the claims or fears or dreams or fantasies or whatever these things are that the men in this space have. You have the just pearly things. You have the times where Brittany Renner went Muslim. You have any other women who is bashing any other sort of women for having quote unquote promiscuous behavior the whole time they got 3 bodies. I don't know. And all it does is help further the point. It's the whole, I have a black friend and he said that this wasn't wrong, so you know it's not wrong. In the female space, there is that exact same thing. I promise you, it is a new era of content creators where women are doing the same thing as men, and because they need their pick-me's to also fall in line, you get this male version of a red pill female content creator who's just validating the claims and concerns of these loser women.
There are only 2 types of men. Type number 1, I'll call these guys the self-starters. These are the confident guys. These are the ones who have their stuff going on. They are very independent. They have been alone before. They know what's up. Now, type number 1 is rarer, but these are the guys who will actually, let's say worst case scenario, you guys are together and then break up. They will actually respect your boundaries. Why? Because they already have their own life that they can go right back to. Having said that, this is the type of guy who will move on from you faster. I don't know if that's going to hurt your feelings or not. But type 2 is the guy who thinks he is independent, but in fact has never really experienced anything other than codependency in his relationships. And if and when eventually that relationship breaks up, because it always does with a guy who's codependent, this is the guy who will keep coming back every single time, even if he is the one who broke up with you first. This is why you always hear me or your friends or other women telling you men always come back, because most guys are type 2 masquerading around like they're type 1 and they are just not.
I think we let stuff like this slide for so long because the narrative, and maybe there's some truth behind it in some situations and in some regards, is that women have been victims in relationships. Now, that almost seems a little oxymoronic because at the end of the day, from my perspective, a lot of the times these people are choosing each other. So how can you be the victim in a relationship where the guy is a mama's boy when you knew he was a mama's boy before you got into it? I have no clue. I don't know. And no, please don't get into my comment section talking about women being abused or whatever. Like physically, that's not what I'm talking about at all. We condemn that behavior. But the way that we look at Fresh and Fit, the way that we look at Kevin Samuels for some of these other people, the way that people look at any of the other red pill manosphere dating guys who are extreme about dating for the men is the same way that we should look about it for the women. The only reason why we don't, from my perspective, is because there has been this overwhelming majority of people that have felt like women are victims in these relationships that they totally consented to, and ultimately it just didn't end up well. So then they were able to use their voice and get on the internet and project project their feelings onto other people, and they put a fancy bow on it by using 3-syllable words that they probably can't even define, but because it's the new buzzword of the week or whatever the case may be, it justifies their feelings and it makes them seem like they were without any sort of fault in these relationships. The true to God only advice that a lot of people need in relationships is go out there and experience stuff. Put yourself out there. Stop being on social media to figure out how to do things. This stuff will only give you analysis paralysis, and it will take you out of something that you actively need to participate in order to get better in. Learn, fail, learn, succeed, fail, succeed, learn, fail, learn, and then ultimately you will end up with a much better partner than you had before. And
that's real. That's real. That's actually some pretty good advice. Go out there, put yourself out there. You know what I'm saying? Have successful relationships that end up failing, or have a successful relationship. Oh, period. That being said, man, like the video, sub up, comment up. Let me know how y'all feel in the comments, bro. Binge your recipes on the channel. I love y'all. Appreciate y'all. And we gone. ADD lad, do it.